Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Always happy to welcome Kelly Williams, a.k.a. the Prodigal Son, to our studios. Good morning.
Good morning. It's early.
It is. It is. And cold. And thank you for being here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Kelly, you've always got things going on, irons in the fire.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit. First of all, somebody might be new in town. Let's introduce you. Who is Kelly Williams? Who's
Kelly
the Prodigal
Williams,
Son?
also known as Prodigal Son. Born and raised here. Graduated from Timken Senior High School. I'm not going to tell you the year because then you try to calculate and see how old I am. But if I said Timken, that should give you a lot of...
That gives a little bit of a clue.
Give you a little clue. I do a lot of things, throughout the community and, just other places. But, yeah, that's it. And they'll find out the rest of the story when we start interviewing.
Right. You're a bit musical, aren't you?
A little bit. Just a little tiny bit.
Yes.
Well, I'm stuck in the corner, so the door's
okay.
stuck. Okay,
yeah, that's fine.
We're going to close the door.
You're good.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about music in the past. What got you involved, and have you always been involved with music?
From what I understand, my parents said that I would take pots and pans out of from under the cupboards, set them up around me like I had a full drum set, and would just bang.
Wow.
That's
sophisticated for a little one.
But I do remember doing it.
Oh, wow.
I do remember doing it. That's what's crazy. And then I went, and I remember watching Sesame Street. I remember this too. I was watching Sesame Street, and they put it was a music section on the show, and they had these cups with glasses with different levels of water in them, and so I started doing that and mixing that with the pots and pans. I should really tell Alex Simon I started that first because I was doing that at a young age. She probably wouldn't think about the drums or nothing, and that's how I got started. Really, music that I was told.
We'll
That's
let
when
you
it
two
was coming
argue
out.
that one out. Who really started it? The Stomp guy or Prodigal Son?
Well, who's the oldest?
Yeah, well.
Oh, he might be older than me, so he can have that.
All right. We'll have to figure that out because now you really have me curious. So not everybody, a lot of kids pound around, but not everybody ends up becoming a recording artist. How
Right.
did you get from there to here?
Just prayer, resilience, and just never giving up. I really wouldn't take no for an answer. When I did get a no, I found a way to say yes to myself. And that's really literally how it happened. When I was living in Canton, I would actually just try to get into any kind of talent show that I could. But once I realized that the talent show was only going as far as the end of the night, I wasn't satisfied with that. And, I was like, I just need something bigger. I just saw me on stages. I saw me behind a television screen. I saw these things as a kid, and I just chased them, I never chased the money. I chased the dream that I saw. Because as a kid, you don't think about the money. You think, I want to be a superhero. But you don't think, do they get paid? They're saving people? You don't think that. I just wanted to be on stage, man, and just performing and people just enjoying what I do, because it brought me happiness. And I know it was going to bring other people happiness. And I wasn't, negative or vulgar in any of my music. And so I just felt like, people would love it. So I would do talent shows and, I would dance at wedding receptions, like anywhere, school dances. And they'd be like, oh, man, Kelly, we killing it, And that's literally how I just got dated into it. And then I moved to Florida. Got involved with music there, and just kind of just took off from there. Oh, my phone's ringing. It's not even supposed to be on. Hold on.
Always in demand, and as evidenced by that, that's okay. Was it Hollywood, Florida, or what started you with Hollywood production?
That is a very good question, and just something happened yesterday that I'm happy about. Hollywood came about. I wasn't living in Hollywood, Florida. I didn't even know there was a Hollywood, Florida. But I was driving down the highway one day, and I saw Hollywood, Florida, and I was like, Hollywood is here? I thought it was in California, right? This is no lie. So as time started going, becoming a Christian, I was under the kind of tones that you can't, be God, and you can't dress a certain way, and you can't drive a certain car, and I never understood that stuff. But there was a scripture in the Bible, Matthew 6:33 says, oh my God, I know the scripture. I cannot believe this. I'm doing this on live radio. Wait a minute. Seek ye first kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things be added unto you. So that is what I believed in. And so I said, well, how can God say, believe in him and you can get all these things, but we can't have them? So to me, I felt like that was like Hollywood. And so I told some friends about it. I told my wife, and they laughed at me. And they was like, Hollywood, that's corny. And so I would say a couple of days later, we were driving down the highway again, and they was doing construction. And the signs, this was the same, maybe the next day, and it was a sign that said, Hollywood exit closed. They left out an L. And I said, that's my sign. That's it. I know it. And so my wife was laughing at me. My friend was in back, so he's laughing. And I'm like, watch, that's going to be a household name. I guarantee you this. And that was for, what's this, 2019, 12 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So the actual sign said Hollywood.
It actually said Hollywood. It was an L left out. And I was like, that's it. That was my sign, because it was the next day. And I had just said that the day before. Like, how coincidental is that? And so I ran with it.
One of those little God winks.
That's what I said it was. Yeah.
It's interesting thinking about that scripture, because that's really about our hearts. What are we putting as our priority? Are we seeking things, or are we seeking God and His kingdom? If we're seeking Him, He had all the things. That's like icing on the cake, but are you seeking the real cake?
I think most people have the feeling that they're chasing the real cake, which is God and His righteousness. But we're taught that if you do this, then you get this, So you
but you don't want to be doing this so that you get that.
This, right? But that's how we're taught.
Yeah.
Until you realize, wait, that's not how it goes. But how long does it take for someone to realize that's not how it goes?
That's a maturity level.
Yes, that's a maturity level, exactly. But we're taught that.
Yeah. So you started Hollywood Productions.
Yes. Yeah.
And started doing some recording. Do you record here in Canton?
Yes, I have a studio in Canton. It is downtown Canton on top of the Canton Flower Shop.
Oh.
Yeah, so me and Escape Room, we share the same floor.
I was just going to say, and then you get to do Escape Room on your downtime.
I actually did a voiceover for one of their games. One of their new games, so it was like really cool. So if you guys get to go to the Escape Room, make sure you go to the Investigator one, because that's my voice on the train.
Gonna do it. I haven't done that one yet. Done Escape Room. We won.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'll do another one, because that really is a lot of fun.
It is.
But your studios are there as well. So you have been very recognized for your work. And go ahead and toot your horn here.
Whew. Yeah. Musically or just community-wise?
Let's start musically, and then I want to get into community.
Okay, musically. 2 second-round Grammy nods as a producer.
Say that again.
2 second-round Grammy nods as a producer. And one of them was Spanish. I was on I helped produce a Spanish project in Florida, and his name is, you guys may not know, Maury Gutierrez is his name, and really really cool guy. Google. Yeah, Maury Gutierrez, and I have the I have the album that I haven't even opened it. I just kept it because it was nominated. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, cool. I'm never going to open this thing. My kids might sell it or something when I die or something.
Frame that, hang it. Really cool.
So this, we were just nominated 2 weeks ago for Stellar Award. So this would be my 3rd Stellar Award nomination.
Stellar Awards.
Yes. And this one is good because my first one was just as a solo artist, but this one is as a producer for projects, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be like the creator and help people create. I got involved in it just because I understood and knew that you have to have a name for people to believe in what you can do. And so it was kind of like a strategy the whole time. But where I'm sitting at now is exactly what I wanted. I watch documentaries on Quincy Jones. I watch documentaries of Berry Gordy. I don't watch documentaries of like Puffy and these new artists. Yeah. I don't. I watch the older guys because they were the ones who were like pioneers, I believe. It doesn't matter if they were Christian or not, just the business mind and the sense and the resilience and everything they had to have in order to overcome. And I study and I watch and I pray and I just never quit. So yeah, I just never quit.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about the project itself.
The project is called Hey Young World, and it's a compilation album of Canton City School students, and working with a couple different entities. On this project, I work with the after school program with Tikva Hands of Hope.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so with Miss Leslie and Carla and Ashley and all them over there, I worked with them on this project. So we started last summer because we had to have them in time and in certain time. Then my high school kids ranged from Canton South, McKinley, and Timken.
And what do they do?
Rap, sing. That's what this project's primarily about. But the messages and the music has to be inspirational. They have to be positive and uplifting. They can't be anything that's negative or want to make someone do something that them themselves wouldn't do. So that's what the music is all about. And these kids are so talented. And, you know, a lot of the kids that I deal with are kids that people say, you know, are the bad bunch, you know. And I know people who work with kids, they all say this about the kids, and people said that, but I literally have probably the bunch that nobody wanted to deal with. You know, I had kids on, you know, high risk probation. And that was kind of, you know, it was stressful a little bit because, you know, you're trying to have them follow in something that's structured. And if they're not used to the structure, it gets uncomfortable, you know, for both sides. But, you know, they push through and, you know, they create music by that, you know, and that's what's the most incredible about it, I believe. Yeah.
Do you get an opportunity to share with them about your own life and your own path?
Every time we're together, I do.
And they've got to be pretty impressed by that.
They are, but they sometimes probably get tired of me talking about it. But I always got a story to tell. You know, so when they get older, they'll be like, man, you know, he always had a story to tell about something, you know. But
That's not bad.
But my stories are in comparison to the life that they're living now. And I'm like, you know, when I was in this situation, I did this, so my life was like this. I'm always in communication with them and telling them, you know, I'm very transparent with them. I think it's important.
We can learn things the easy way, and we can learn things the hard way.
Right.
And do they recognize that you are trying to help them not have to learn these important things the hard way?
I don't think initially, no. I think, well, actually, that's a good question. I had one guy who kind of graduated out of the program at this point. He was just a real hardcore street kid, you know, and, you know, he told me he didn't trust a lot of people, but I knew he was there for the free recording. I knew he was there, you know, just for the free things. I knew this, but I would still try to, you know, plug into him, and I didn't, you know, want to push him away because that's what the program was for. But I recognized he was just trying to get something. So in that, I would really just, you know, just try to, you know, be like the big brother to him, you know.
Yes.
You know, let's converse, let's hang out, let's talk. I would keep the relationships, you know, balanced enough where it would. Well, they know we're cool, but also know they got to keep the respect value.
Yes.
But this one kid, he was, after he was done, he came back maybe a couple months later and was like, man, you know, it was just difficult out here. And I thought I could do this. And really, what I realized yesterday, he said yesterday, what I realized, man, that you was really just trying to look out for me. And he said, I appreciate that. So that comment, you know, changed the dynamics of how he and I communicated from that point. And so he's doing his own thing musically. You know, he just actually reached out to me, I think 2 days ago, and said the music we recorded together, he's finally going to put it out. And, you know, was it okay if he gave me producer credits? I was like, of course. That's what I want, of course. So, and I was real happy about that. So sometimes you got to let them fly, you know, just so they can land.
Don't you find these kids are kids, and they are maybe developing this hard outer shell just as a survival technique.
That's all I think it is.
Inside they're hurting and they need love like anyone.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. One of my junior high kids over at Tikva, this one kid, man, when I first met him first day, you know, the hard shell. His shell was hard as this table. And he wouldn't talk. He wouldn't do anything. So I was like, you know what, man, you ain't gonna talk to me. I would just ignore you. I'm acting like you ain't even in the room. So you don't want to talk to me, I want to talk to you. And I just kept ignoring him. And that might seem harsh to someone to hear that, but I knew what I was doing.
It was tough love.
It was tough because I would always see him staring at me. I would always see him looking at me, talk to other boys, and kind of just ignore him. But I wasn't ignoring him. I was ignoring him as a strategy, like he's going to come around. And then one day he was like, hey, Mr. Kelly, can I talk to you? And that was the end. So he smiles every day, conversates every day. His energy is totally changed. So I think it just takes one person, you know, just to kind of, or I don't even say the right person. It just takes one person to just engage. And if that's not the right fit, you know, at least that kid or that person knows that somebody engaged me. I don't have to be sad or look mad every day, you know, but they become vulnerable. And you never know if they were vulnerable in another place and they were taken advantage of. So working with kids, man, it's that fine line because you just don't know, like, if they're going to be great today and tomorrow they might explode, you know. Today they're happy, tomorrow they want to commit suicide. You know, today they're excited, but tomorrow they're unhappy because, you know, they had a fight in the house with their parents or the parents was fighting. Or, you know, I mean, I see everything across the board I just see everything across the board. And
You've been recognized in the community for this work with young people. Talk about that.
I never do anything for the recognition. That's the crazy thing. You know, this year alone, or 2018, I received 4 working with kids and I didn't even know this was possible. This was crazy. I remember asking my wife one day, I said, how many proclamations can you get? How many proclamations can one person get? She was like, I don't know. I said, well, I want more than just this one from Canton. I want from everywhere.
That's really cool.
Literally, no lie. Within a few months, I was just getting calls like, hey, you've been recognized, got an award, need you to come here. So just in 2018, I got the Ohio State Senate Award proclamation. I got the Ohio United States Congress proclamation. I received the Spotlight Award from Coming Together Stark County.
Right.
And then I received the State of Ohio proclamation. And it was all about music and working with kids. And it all came from, like, the Stellar situation. It was just crazy, like, my God, I wasn't trying to get these things.
No.
I was just doing the vision that I have in my head.
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
We need to take a short break. We're going to be back with Kelly Williams, Prodigal Son, after these words. You're listening to Our Community.